In this video, we are going to talk about changes in government expenditure, taxes and debt of the chapter Government Budget of Economics of Class 12th. I am Ankita Singh of University School of Management Studies. Let's start the discussion. In the previous video, we have discussed about fiscal policy. Here's a quick recap of what we have learned. Government policy should be used to stabilize the level of output and employment. The government stabilizes the level of output and employment through changes in expenditure and taxes, which will be discussed in this video. Through this process, government attempts to increase the output and income and seeks to stabilize the ups and downs in the economy. Now there are two types of fiscal policy: expansionary fiscal policy and contractionary fiscal policy. Now when there is recession, the government uses expansionary fiscal policy to increase the income and output level. When there is inflation, the government uses contractionary fiscal policy. Uh, Expansionary fiscal policy involves the government seeking to increase the aggregate demand through higher government spending and or lowering the taxes. Either the government increases the government spends and lowers the income tax so as to increase the disposable income with the public. Now the contractionary fiscal policy, it involves increasing taxes, decreasing government expenditure or both in order to fight inflation. And simple and interesting concept of consumption function, which is represented by the equation of C is equals to C bar plus CYD. C bar is the autonomous consumption. Autonomous consumption is the consumption expenditure when the income level is zero. Even when the income is zero, certain goods needs to be purchased to live. And C is the marginal propensity to consume, it is the multiplier, and YD is the disposable income of the public. It means the income left with the public after deduction of tax and addition of transfer payments. The equation C is equals to C bar or the autonomous consumption plus MPC into disposable income is further is equals to C bar plus C, and here we have expanded the disposable income, which consists of income or Y minus T for the taxes plus TR or the transfer payments. By transfer payments we mean that those receipts by the government to the general public. In return, no services or goods are expected. These are unilateral payment and the government doesn't expect to work for them in return for those payments. The definition of aggregate demand augmented to include the government will be AD is equals to C bar plus C into disposable income, which consists of the income minus taxes plus TR or the transfer payments plus investments plus government expenditure or the G. This equation states that aggregate demand is equals to the autonomous consumption plus MPC into disposable income plus investments plus government expenditure. The income determination condition in the product market will be Y is equals to AD. This means that income or Y is equals to AD. When we put Y in place of AD in the previous equation, which comes out to be Y is equals to autonomous consumption plus C into disposable income plus investment plus government taxes. We can see that there are two Y's on the RHS and the LHS. So we move the RHS part to the LHS part, which comes out to be Y minus C in brackets Y minus T plus TR, which is equals to autonomous consumption plus investment plus government expenditure. Here the final equation comes out to be Y star is equals to 1 minus C in brackets autonomous consumption minus CT plus CTR plus investments plus government expenditure. This simply states that the income is equals to 1 minus C. We have taken C as MPC, so 1 minus MPC into autonomous consumption minus C into T, which is taxes, plus C into TR, which is transfer payments plus investments plus government expenditure. This slide discusses about the government expenditure or the areas in which government spends. First is the government purchases of goods and services. Government purchases goods and services, whether it's buying of rice and wheat from the farmers for the general public, or in the recent example of purchasing PPE kits for the doctors to cure the coronavirus patients. Next is the transfer payment. We all know that transfer payment is a form of unilateral payment which includes pension, subsidies, and direct bank transfers to the poor. Next is other interests. Now we know that government has taken loans from various organizations like the World Bank or the Asian Development Banks, etc. It has to repay in principal with interests. Next is the agricultural. Government invests hugely in agriculture to support the Indian farmer in times of famine or drought. The government supports the farmers. Energy. The government spends in energy sectors also. Last is rural development. Government spends a huge amount in rural development, that is developing infrastructure, which includes construction of roads, bridges, and other necessary institutions. In this slide, we are going to talk about changes in government expenditure. In the graph, we can see that x-axis represents the income by the symbol Y, and the y-axis shows us the aggregate demand. Now the slope shows us Y is equals to C plus S, that is income is equals to consumption plus savings, which is of 45-degree angle. Let's come to point E1. E1 shows the level of aggregate demand, which is equals to income, with the income level of Y1, and when the government increases the government expenditure, we come to point E2, which is C plus I plus G2, that is the changed government expenditure. E2 is aggregate demand equal to income at Y2 level of income. We can see that at increased level of government expenditure, the income has risen from point Y1 to Y2. The government spending multiplier is given by delta y is equals to 1 upon 1 minus c, that is MPC, into delta g, or delta y upon delta g is equals to 1 upon 1 minus c. Changes in taxes. Now see the graph first. The x-axis shows the income and the y-axis shows the aggregate demand. At point E, it is the intersection of income and aggregate demand at the level of income y. Now when the taxes are reduced, the disposable income increases, which shifts the curve upwards at point E dash. It's also the intersection of income and aggregate demand at the level of income y double dash. Now the tax multiplier is the delta y upon delta t equals to minus c 1 upon 1 minus c. Debt. Budgetary deficits must be financed by either taxation, borrowing, or printing money. Government have mostly relied on borrowing, giving rise to what is called government debt. The debt can be taken in the international markets or in the domestic markets. By borrowing, the government transfers the burden of reduced consumption on the future generation. That is because when the government borrows loan from any institution, it has to pay the principal with interest. So when it pays interest, it needs fund, and the funding comes from taxation. So it raises taxation after a period of time. One of the main criticisms of deficits is that they are inflationary. This is because when the government increases spending or cuts taxes, the aggregate demand increases. Firms may not be able to produce higher quantities that are being demanded at the ongoing prices. Prices will therefore have to rise. It it simply means that when the government increases spending or cuts taxes, the public will have more disposable income. When they have more disposable income, they'll spend more on goods. The demand will increase. We know that the supply of goods is limited because the resources are scarce. Now, when the demand increases and the supply is constant due to limited resources, so the price will rise according to the law of demand. That is, when the demand increases, price also rises. However, if there are unutilized resources, output is held by the lack of demand. A high fiscal deficit accompanied by higher demand and greater output, and therefore need not to be inflationary. Earlier, we talked about the case when there are limited resources. If the resources are in abundant and they are unutilized, we can utilized when there is high demand. It will not be inflationary. If the government invests in infrastructure, future generations may be better off, provided the return on such investments are greater than the rate of interest. Actual debt could be paid off by the growth in output. For example, if the government invests in the education sector, the future generation of our country will be well educated and driving the economy even faster. Deficit reduction. The government deficit can be reduced by an increase in taxes or reduction in expenditure. In India, the government has been trying to increase tax revenue with greater reliance on direct taxes. As the indirect taxes are regressive in nature, they impact all the groups equally. There has also been an attempt to raise the receipts through the sale of shares in PSUs. The other way is to change the scope of government by withdrawing from some of the areas where it operated before. Cutting back government programs in vital areas like agriculture, education, health, poverty alleviation, etc., would adversely affect the economy. Governments in many countries run huge deficits, forcing them to eventually put in place self imposed constraints of not increasing expenditure over the predetermined levels. Through previous slides, we have come to conclusion that the deficit should be reduced. Government reduces the deficits either by increasing taxes or reducing the expenditure. There is mandatory expenditure in the areas like education, health, poverty alleviation, and also the government is trying to increase the tax revenue. Thank you, and that's all from my side.